Everyone is a star child, made of stardust and the infinite potential of the universe. This extraordinary field is something in each of us clamors for freedom from the bonds of fear, conformity, and an ordinary life. Welcome to Dr. Durr's Living in the Sweet Spot, where practical tools and solutions from the intersection of mind-body medicine, science, and spiritual well-being awaken and empower you to live out your infinite potential, to live life in the sweet spot. Millions of Americans are sick and not finding solutions to heal them in order to find health in traditional medicine. So many are looking to alternative forms of medicine or just are unsure where to look. So today we're going to talk about a field that's called energy medicine and how its use in a variety of forms can help you heal, and specifically about the 528 frequency that's called the pure tone love or the universal healer. So joining me today to have that conversation is Dr. Leonard G. Horowitz.
Hi.
Hi there, Dr. Horowitz. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so the energy medicine is not something that we really hear about often. Certainly not in media. I don't think so anyway. I'm not hearing about it in media. I'm reading about it and seeing about it in other places. But so why don't you tell us something about what energy medicine is exactly?
Sure. Energy medicine has an intimate connection to spirituality because you see, spirit is energy, and energy is negatively charged, alkalizing electrons. These are the antioxidants. So you probably have heard, many people in the consumer world now in health products and services know that antioxidants boost immunity. And so energy medicine deals with various aspects of energy that can boost immunity, make people healthier. And actually, it's fascinating when you start to think about aspects of it that include music, because the 528 frequency in particular boosts natural immunity about 100%. According to one Tehran study, it boosts testosterone levels, according to a study from India. And according to the Japanese independent investigators, just the sound of 528 frequency, which can be played to music so that you could have therapeutic music and frequency therapeutics, that it is a general all-around health restorer, health promoter. And so there's a revolution happening globally right now. I pioneered the whole field of 528 frequency therapeutics. And that, I think, is the most exciting aspect of energy medicine.
So, yeah, I think that what you said is fascinating and filled with possibilities. So before we go ahead and unpack that some more, let me share with the audience just who Dr. Leonard G. Horowitz is. He is a riveting speaker, multi-award-winning best-selling author and filmmaker, consumer health activist, energy medicine expert, and Electroceuticals pioneer, and founding father of the exploding 528 industry that leverages the 528 frequency of therapeutic sound, light, and music, empowering creative artistry and the natural healing arts and sciences. So he also has a new book that he is releasing, and that is Spiritual Warfare, Salvation, and Survival in the Age of Chaos, subtitled The AI Frequency Weaponry and Transhumanism Threatening Extinction. Yes. Ooh, that's about right. So
mouthful, right?
Yeah, that is definitely a mouthful. So So I think, it's again, you said a whole bunch that I want to get into there. And I think one of the things that that may be kind of helpful for folks is one, I think that it's important for people to understand that everything in the physical world is composed of energy, right? Everything.
Everything.
And because everything is composed of energy, then um, how we think and feel then is energy being broadcast into the universe. And that energy, if we is repetitive thinking and feeling about it, will become something in the physical world. So if you think about it like that, then energy is really core and fundamental to our existence. And if the energy is at a certain frequency, in the context of what we're talking about, is going to create illness, but it's a different frequency, it's going to create health. And the other thing too that I try to suggest to people is, if you think about your thoughts, think about like a TV tower, right? And a TV tower has a certain signal. That signal has a certain frequency. And that signal is being broadcast again out into the universe. And so if you're on the same signal, the same frequency with CBS, at that time you get that programming. If it's public TV, you get that programming. If it's ESPN, you get that programming. So frequency is going to give you a different experience, because you are going to be on the same frequency with that person, that same situation. And so if you're not liking the program, you need to change your frequency.
Yep, that's for sure. So the concept that love is so powerful and important, and it's considered the universal healer. And the evidence that I've accumulated over several years now, actually since 1998, increasingly, is that 528 frequency is pure tone love, the universal healer. And so this is what I've been involved in advancing this whole field of electroceuticals. Think about using products and imparting that wonderful frequency into nutraceuticals. And so you have actually electroceuticals. I've published a number of articles, scientific peer review articles, included one in homeopathic journal, the main homeopathic journal on the planet. And it demystifies how the homeopathics actually work. And up until this point, up until the publication of that article, it's a mystery. It's been a mystery how water can hold the memory of a certain plant or frequency. And that subsequently, when I published this material, it explains how not only homeopathics work, but how we work. Because genetics is all about, like you're just talking about, like a broadcast of particular frequencies. That's what DNA actually does. DNA, I consider it an antenna to God. And I call it the sacred spiral. And that sacred spiral, 96% of its function is its sound and light signaling. So it receives and transmits certain frequency waves that are called photons and phonons, sound and light signals, so that it communicates with the rest of the body. And all of this is impacted, like you're talking about, through various emotions, chemicals, assaults. In fact, when one starts to integrate this whole understanding, it shatters the medical paradigm. The medical paradigm, medical pharmaceutical paradigm, is based basically on the understanding that certain drugs can impact the physiology, metabolism, and health status of an individual. But if you think about it, you're a spiritual being before you're a physical being. That's been even proven by science. And so if you're a spiritual being, wouldn't you want to be treating yourself spiritually? And again, spirit is energy. Energy is certain electrons, negatively charged, alkalizing electrons that are vibrating at certain frequencies. And so it opens up this whole understanding of frequency therapeutics, clinical applications, consumer products and services, all dealing with this wonderful revelation that we are the music virtually. We are the energy. Music, again, is energy that comes out certain frequencies, and we are that. And, 80% of your body water, 80% of your body is water, approximately. Water happens to be a liquid crystal superconductor of sound and light. And DNA has a unique type of water that's called structured water that does that optimally. It receives and transmits and even memorizes energy signals. And so this fundamental understanding is creating a revolution, not just in the musical industry, but in the healing arts and sciences.
So, Dr. Horowitz, it's a lot of that now, and I think one of the things that I think of course, even kind of from the beginning, one of the things you were talking about was the oxidative stress, and for those who may be familiar with that, really, of course, is what it is that we use oxygen to burn energy, and the challenge, when we eat food we waste, and so the oxygen, when it's of course getting utilized to create energy, it then creates this charged particle which unchecked can damage our DNA. So that's the importance of antioxidants. In addition to, you were mentioning about us being spiritual beings, and then of course you mentioned about spirit being interchangeable energy, and you said that's been proven by science. So by science, clarify that. Is that what you mean? What you mean when it's been proven by science that we're spiritual beings as beings?
Well, I love that you raised this issue of antioxidants, because I'm going to simplify it really very easily,
Okay.
and answer your question at the same time.
Okay.
We integrate physics as well as metaphysics. The whole spiritual concepts involves metaphysics, but actually the body physiology primarily is based on positive and negative charges, acid or alkalinity within the body chemistry. And now, what does that mean? And what are we living off of, actually? We're living off of, surely, sunshine. But what is sunshine? It's hydrogen that's bombarding us with solar radiation that is negatively charged electrons. And the air that we breathe, we're organic beings, is actually produced mostly by chlorophyll, which is that greenish yellow color of the botanical world that's actually vibrating to the heart of sunshine, which is 528 nanometers of light. That's that heart of the rainbow. Very heart of the rainbow is 528 nanometers of light, and that reflects the heart of sunshine. So if it's true for the heart of sun, true for the heart of the rainbow, it's true for your heart, my heart, and the Creator's heart. Now you're identifying specifically the frequency broadcast of pure tone love, sustenance, rejuvenation, restoration. This whole concept of respiration, breathing in that oxygen that's negatively charged electrons on the oxygen. That's the hydroxyl radical, that's OH negative in water chemistry. That is the antioxidant. That is the carrier of the life force, or the prana. the spirit, that Holy Spirit power of negatively charged electrons vibrating from sunshine by grace of the Creator, who's put this all together and administers all of this in balance. And so this is this whole concept that we're organic beings. Think about organic chemistry ring. You know, we're carbon-6 beings. Well, gee whiz, look at your hemoglobin. It's the same structure as chlorophyll. What's carrying your breath of life, respiration, re-spiritualization, is this negatively charged electron that's carried by hemoglobin, which is chemically, structurally nearly identical to chlorophyll. The only difference, the main difference really, is we have red blood from iron at the center of that molecule, but the plant world has magnesium, which is that greenish color at the heart of chlorophyll. So when you start to think about chemistry, underlying biophysics, the whole concept of biochemistry and biophysics that operate, electrogenetics, how DNA expresses sound and light signaling to affect the chemistry, to affect everything ongoing in our body. It all comes down to acid-base balance and dynamics. That when you're sick and diseased, we know in natural medicine particularly, cancers cannot grow well in an alkalized environment. In other words, cancers and arthritic conditions, inflammatory conditions, chronic diseases don't do well when you're alkalized. What does that mean? It means when you have a lot of the negatively charged electrons, the energy, the antioxidants, then your immunity is raised and you don't get sick. Now, that has everything to do with the concept of a religious world. It has everything to do with Eastern theology, the prana, the breath of life. In the religious world in the West, it's that Holy Spirit power of love that does all the healing and all of the protection. So that has everything to do with immunity. And now the science is showing us, proving internationally, that when the negatively charged electrons are vibrating, they're vibrating, in my opinion, and based on the evidence, at the sound of love, 528 frequency, the heart of the universe. You know, I could get into the fact that there's a musical, mathematical matrix of virtually divine design, of intelligent design, by which everything has been created and administered by our glorious Creator. Now,
so let me ask you for practical purpose. The fact that we are, you know, beings of light, and the fact that common frequency 528 that exists in all living things. What does that mean basically for us as human beings, in terms of, you know, how we then alter our states of being, creating experiences we don't want, potentially even illness? What does that mean in terms of, you know, how we make that shift?
Well, again, this is paradigm shattering intelligence. Our paradigm, unfortunately, is dumbed down. It is restricted.
Real dumb, actually.
Real, yeah. And medicine, you know, we know that most of medical education is basically induction of drug therapies, you know, basically promotion of drugs And basically, it doesn't focus on the patient and the patient's holistic wellness, body, mind, emotion, spirit, intuition, connection to higher consciousness, to the creator even.
It really is, to your point, it really is a sick of care. And so really being held is really sick care.
Yeah, it's very, very limited. And unfortunately, because it's so limited and so focused, you see on headline primetime television now, all the commercials that are actually telling us the diseases that are going to be caused if you take certain drugs. You know, and a 60-second commercial, you have maybe, 30 seconds or 20 seconds of all the side effects. And that's expected we're supposed to be normalizing that. We're supposed to be accepting that as normalcy, when in fact that's insanity. Again, it's completely inconsistent with who we are as human beings. We're spirit-filled beings. We are the music, and we're operating because of the frequency 528 of love that the creator is forever giving, like forgiving, forever giving by grace, this magnificent blessing of health and restoration, sustenance. And again, there's so much empirical evidence, such as just looking at the word respiration. Well, the root words are re-spiritualizing ourselves. Look at the whole concept, and I love the concept of Jesus going to John the Baptist for his baptism. Look at what happens when you go dunk in water with prayer, faithful prayer in a ritual. You suddenly get this incredible download of this Holy Spirit of love and restoration. Look what happens when you're exhausted after a hard day's work and you go into the shower, and suddenly now from a water bath or bathing and showering with water, you're suddenly restored, refreshed. How does it happen that you go to sleep at night feeling so tired and wake up in the morning suddenly so refreshed? All night long, you've been actually being the recipient, being blessed by negatively charged, alkalizing, immune boosting, energy restoring electrons that literally source from sunshine and the way nature operates with oxygen and water. So
is that what's so happening, like you said, when you're bathing either in the shower or in the pools that people go to and spot other places like that what's happened is that what's with the water in terms of it? Okay,
that's right.
Is it practicing aid?
Now think about how simple that is. It's just so simple, but we live in a world of complexity. Scientists, the gods of science and mainstream media persuasion has persuaded us to integrate this culture where we honor drugs instead of our natural creator's capabilities of restoring us naturally. So
let me say this in terms of, because again, to kind of keep I argue about the fact that we're being taught to be disconnected from ourselves, be disconnected from the deeper self, that being which animates all of life and is everything in the universe, in every universe. And in doing so that connection, and to be kind of conditioned to keep chasing it that you can never catch. The problem with that is then we don't connect to understand and use common sense,
that's right,
knowledge and wisdom. So for instance, that I like to say to people just to get attention and to connect them to this. Your body can't live without a brain, right? We understand that inherently, if you're on life support, and there's an activity that you're done, you're out of here. And but then we don't think about what means, and therefore how important in a conscious way. We don't think about how important it is to take care of my health and brain, and including the rest of my body, and to do so and with intention, and to ask the question, well, what do I need to be because another simple example, if I don't change the oil in my car, put reason coolant in the right parts, the right tires, if I don't do proper maintenance on my car, it's going to stop functioning. And the same, so there's not that connection to what that means in terms of, then if I'm doing, is it health, or what I'm doing, is it creating illness? And that basic fundamental understanding is, even, you don't even see that in, I don't think really in health classes. So even in talking about brain, where your brain is running everything because traffic control, and it's running everything except for the most simple reflex. So in keeping with what you're saying, people think of this when you mention nutraceuticals, which really nutraceuticals is things like vitamins and those kind of things that you give your body nutrition, so that it develops health cells, functions optimally. So if you don't give your body that, then it's not going to properly. And again, then you'll be sick. So from a basic fundamentally, there needs to be that recognition and that knowing. Once people again, and what are some things that they can do to connect themselves, and especially consistently, to that love, see that healing frequency of 528 hertz.
Oh, there's a lot. I have my own private radio station people can listen to for free on the internet. It's 528radio.com, so that you can listen to music that is therapeutic. You can do all sorts of things: yoga, exercise, breathing, aerobic exercise, bringing in that oxygen and doing it in a meditative and thankful, prayerful manner is wonderful. This technology, for those who would like to get more information about 528, read the book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love. That's the book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love, is like most of my books distributed by Amazon and Kindle. So you go to Amazon, you can get the book of 528, Prosperity Key of Love, and it'll change your whole perception of what reality is and what the world, the magnificent creation around us, and we are part of, what it's all about. There's a number of other things. For example, if you want to talk about products, this is a 528 tuning fork. And that is sold on Healthy World Store, and my colleagues in other places sell tuning forks in 528. It's exploding in Japan. The Japanese get this concept of energy medicine probably better than any society. And what you can do with this is instantly de-stress. If you strike this, I don't know if you can hear the frequency of it, but you could just put this around, wave it around your head, and the whole energy and aura shifts, because you have what's called a biofield. Your DNA and your cells and tissues are outputting energy, broadcasting the various biofield energies and frequencies. And when you're distressed, it is very obvious to people who do Kirlian photography and thermography. They use instrumentation to examine the biofield. Well, dramatically shifts when you play 528 to your own biofield. You suddenly get a relaxation response. You know, I typically, when I'm listening to music in 528, it's different. It has a different sound. So I can get a breath release. I like normally get a breath release. Like I go, when I'm listening to 528 music. Then think about the ways, if you go on to healthyworldstore.com, you can see a whole line of electroceuticals, because water can be imprinted with the memory of 528 healing frequency.
Excuse me, Dr. Horowitz. Let's take a break, and we come back, pick up with Electroceuticals. We're all on our own path, but many of us encounter the same apparent roadblocks, challenges, and suffering. Discover how your fear, doubts, and disbeliefs disconnect you from spirit, causing you to struggle and forgo your divine gifts and limitless possibilities. Heaven Abounds in You helps you to overcome your mind's roadblocks so you reconnect the spirit and flow. Discover you're always connected to your source. The source of your heart's desires is already within you, and your true identity is infinite potential with limitless possibilities. Heaven abounds in you.
Are you ready to transform your life and get what you really want? Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, and over the past 30 years, I've helped thousands of people change the course of their lives by doing one special thing daily. This is the foundation of my latest book, The Courage to Change Everything. It is the ultimate guide to awakening the transformative power within you to get what you want. In this book, I'll teach you exactly how to unlock your hidden potential, break through your limitations, and get what you want, no matter what's happening in the economy or things beyond your control. So why wait? Get your copy of The Courage to Change Everything right now at couragetochange.us. That's couragetochange.us. There's no risk to you. If you're not fully satisfied that this book has supported you in getting what you want, just return it for a full refund.
Hey there, I'm your host, Dr. Balin, and we off before the break. We were talking with Horowitz about energy medicine and the love frequency, then the healing frequency of 528 hertz, and he was actually just about electroceuticals. So you were saying.
Yeah, so you can also apply 528 frequency in really every industry. Because background in medicine and dentistry, I apply it in a whole branding, a line of nutraceuticals that start with structured water that's vibrating in 528, such as oxysilver with 528. That's a fantastic product because it seeds the understanding of how water memory can impart the 528 love healing frequency. And for example, in this case with oxysilver, it's a antibiotic, a broad spectrum antimicrobial, antiviral, antifungal immune booster that has a double superconductor of that 528 frequency. Why do I say double superconductor? Well, you have water, which is a liquid crystal superconductor, holding the memory and vibrational integrity of 528 frequency, outputting that, broadcasting that to your cells and tissues. But silver is also one of the three main elements that are electroconductive. So you have silver as an electroconductive frequency transmitter. So you have water. Now, what I love most about this whole concept is it imparts also this increased prayer. It actually increases the power of prayer, because you see your heart when you study the frequency resonant energy of faith, of the values in the heart, of joy, of love, of bravery, brave heart. Well, that's a certain frequency again. You mentioned that at the beginning of the program. You're tuned right there. I call that the zone of bliss. When you're in that zone of bliss, basically, you're maximizing not only creative artistry. When you watch musicians and vocalists engaged in concert means coming together. It's a communion on stage, and it brings tears to your windows of your soul, your eyes, when it's so powerful. You get shivers up your spine, called frisson in medicine and in musicology. This is an extraordinary, another evidence, empirical proof of the fact that 528 frequency music can be powerfully impactful, and yet you can actually administer that through homeopathics, through nutraceuticals, nutritional supplements, changing the power, integrating it into your own spirituality, your own capability in prayer to produce miracles. In fact, here's a piece of trivia. In fact, 528 frequency is the miracle note of the original musical scale, called the solfeggio. On the screen behind me, there's a book that's called Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. It's available on Kindle, Amazon. But that book in 1998 came out, healing the original musical scale. And the third note, today we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. It used to be ut, re, mi. The third note, mi, stands for miracles in English. Miragistorum in Latin, miracles. 528 is the miracle note of the original musical scale, by which the hymn to St. John the Baptist, talked about baptism, the power of baptism. John the Baptist, this whole hymn to St. John the Baptist, the most spiritually uplifting hymn of all the ages that the Roman Catholic Church and even the ancient rabbis and Levitical priests in the Jewish tradition have secreted it. It's been buried up until 1998. It was buried for over 1,500 years until we came out with Healing Codes for the Biological Apocalypse. And that's my -- bestseller right now on Amazon Kindle. Now think about that. 1998, this is 2024, a quarter century. I've been studying this, I've been advancing this, and it's been increasing. The revelations associated with the research and developments are extraordinary at this point, and literally causing an international explosion in the music industry and the natural healing arts and sciences, integrating this intelligence and the 528 frequency dynamics in so many products and services that I can't even mention them at this point. There's so many of them.
So let me ask you this again from a practical standpoint. If someone acts 528, I say activate, connects with, resonates with, what can they practically to see change or happen?
Well, for example, what I mentioned, just relaxation response. How important is that for stress relief? And again, one of the ways that I use this is, people get antsy and irritable in traffic jams. But if you have a 528 tuning fork sitting in your car, you basically can do this. Instead of getting distressed and stressed out, you take a relaxation break.
Yes.
Don't
hit anybody with a tuning fork.
Right. And you can go to healthyworldstore.com and look at the other products. I don't have that many on the store. There's maybe a dozen good products to look at and order, try out, experiment with. But again,
you said relaxation, right? Stress relief.
Yeah.
What else expect to see?
There's a variety of products. There's services, as I mentioned, 528radio.com. But it's exploding. If you did a search on Google right now,
Right, but I mean, in terms of what can they practically expect to change in their health or in their life by connecting with 528 hertz?
well, that's
Relaxation, the stress
each
relief.
individual, has their own unique challenges and their own unique opportunities. Prayer, whatever it is that's troubling you, pray. But also you could take, for example, with the prayer, if you need miraculous healing, Jonathan Goldman, who took my work and produced a magnificent album that's on the store, healthyworldstore.com, called Holy Harmony CD.
Mhm.
Listening to that will turn your bedroom into a Holy Spirit-filled cathedral. And if you add prayer in that environment, it's highly probable, because of the power of prayer in sync with the original musical scale notes, that's the matrix of nature, creative, basis of how everything in the universe is based on musical mathematics. And understanding this and applying this practically can be profoundly helpful if you need a miracle. If you've got cancer, arthritic conditions that haven't been helped by medical procedures or drugs, then what you need to do is try the alternatives. Is you go,
And doing so, because again, what I think of prayer is me speaking to the creator, connecting to the creator, but it's also really for me to then quiet my mind so that I can access that wisdom and knowledge. And in accessing the wisdom and knowledge, then I'm guided to take action or allowing the healing in my body to be activated in order to create health. That's how I see prayer. So are you saying that or that when you're speaking about prayer in 528 hertz?
Do you ever feel like you can't say what you really want to say? Or that you're stuck or in a holding pattern in your relationships, career, personal life, or finances? Are there things you want in life that you've given up on? Are you resigned that this is as good as it's going to get? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then Hillary Burns, host of the Getting Real with Hillary show, has the solution you need. Hillary is a published author of 3 books and has a program called the Getting Real Process. This process frees you from what is holding you back, allowing you to create a life you love. Don't believe it? It is hard to believe that it could work, isn't it? The proof is that hundreds of Hillary's clients have used the Getting Real process and are now free to create whatever they want in relationships, career, finances, enjoying life, or just loving themselves more. So go to realtalkwithhillary.com and order Hillary's book, Real Talk, and set up a conversation.
What you just said is totally beautifully consistent with the book. It's called Healing Celebrations, Miraculous Recoveries Through Ancient Scripture, Natural Medicine, and Modern Science. And that's another book that's Amazon Kindle has, but it's also on healthyworldstore.com. Thank you so much for this invitation to be with you. God bless you and your audience, your listeners.
Well, so much, Dr. Leonard G. Horowitz. That was kind of mind blowing. Gives us a lot to think about, a lot to process, but more importantly, a wonderful tool which to activate our healing, and use to our stress, and just take us into a entirely different level. That was certainly a thought-provoking conversation with Dr. Horowitz. You know, I think it's actually thing that's really kind of awe-inspiring to realize that we are energy beings. And because what does that mean in terms of being an energy being? Again, everything in the physical universe of energy, you, me, the air, the water, the trees, your loved ones. And so again, everything that we see or experience in the physical universe is made of energy. And so again, in another way again that we talk about energy, another word for energy is also spirit. Another word for energy and spirit can be energy intelligence, because there is an intelligence to this universe that we live in. How it's made, how it's designed, and how it's purposed. That is very much an energy intelligence. So if you think about then who we are as energy beings, what that means is the notion that we are infinite potential. We are infinite potential in this body that's arranged in a certain way to appear as us. So again, we are infinite potential. And to me, again, the wonderful thing about the fact that we are infinite potential is because that's why we have infinite potential, because we are infinite potential. Another way of that is, again, that's why we are star children made of stardust. Again, our bodies are composed of exploding atoms from different stars. The iron in our blood comes from different exploding stars. The calcium in our bones comes from exploding stars. Therefore, we are star children made of stardust, and potential of the universe appearing as us. So again, why does that matter? The reason it matters is because if you think about that you are an energy being, then think of what that means in terms of your health. And here we talk about being awakened, understanding who you are and what your infinite potential is, and therefore what your possibilities are. So if you are an energy being, then what that means is that you not only do you want to live in the sweet spot, but guess what? What that means is the sweet spot lives in you. That's right. Isn't that, you know what, that is just something that is to me, again, it's just so awe-inspiring to think that, again, not only do I want to live in the sweet spot, but the fact of the matter is I already live in the sweet spot because I am the sweet spot, because you are the sweet spot. So then that also means that energy being are that we also have health within us already. And in having health already within us already, all it means we do, instead of trying to get health, all we need to do is just activate the health principle that's ours. And so if you think about then energy, it's a matter of connecting your mind, or I should say aligning your mindset to that truth, to that reality, and then activating it so that it creates health in your life. And so what does that mean? It means that that you're in charge. It means that you have the power. It means that whether you're talking about health or anything else in your life, that you have the ability to create and demonstrate whatever that looks like. And I remember having this conversation with a family member of mine, and what I from this conversation is that we tend to think of things in such a compartmentalized way, meaning that this area of our life is separate from a different area in our life, and then the approach that we take to, dealing with it, making it better is different. But the truth of the matter is that because we're talking about life and life force, it really is the same thing. So it's just that we use that energy, we use that life force in order to create or demonstrate different things in different areas of our life. So what the family member said to me was, I said to them, I said, you had cancer. I said, and because of your belief, self, and the Creator, to heal you, what you did was you declared that healed. And the fact of the matter was, when she went back to see the doctors, they were just astounded at how quickly she was healing compared to the average patient. So she said, so I said, when I said this, I said, no, really, it's this. I said, now that you're dealing with this other area of your life, you use this approach that you did in order to heal yourself from the breast cancer. And she said, no, it's different. They're just not the same thing. I can't do that in this area of my life. And I said, just like Master Yoda, who obviously is one of my favorites, said to Luke, when Luke was having to get his jet out swamp, and he said, no, this is different than moving stones, Master Yoda. And Master Yoda said to him, no, only difference in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned. And I was struck then by the fact that he would say, oh, I get it. If we think it's small, something that's manageable, something we know we can do, we go, yeah, I can do that. But sometimes when it seems so big and it seems so overwhelming and it seems so far beyond our possibilities and our power to affect change, we go, no, big, no, I'm inadequate, not up to doing that. So I can't do that big for me. And so what Master Yoda was saying was, no, it's the same thing. And while you've learned or convinced that it's different, it's not different at all. It really is the same thing. So that's why that's why it matters. That's why it's important that we get that we're energy beings, and that we get that just like I am really the captain of my health, that in every area of my life, I'm the captain of creating the life I want in those areas too, whether it be relationships, whether it be, financial, again, whether it's my health, whether it's my home, whether it's my peace, whether it's my relationship. So when we expand our awareness, when we understand just how infinite we are, then you understand that not only are you the captain of your health, but you really and truly are the master of your soul and life and your possibilities. So I am your host, Dr. Balin A. Durr, awakening and empowering you to live out your infinite potential, to live life in the sweet spot. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us today in the sweet spot. Share, follow, and like us on social media. To learn more, please visit BalinADurrMD.com, spelled BalinADurrMD.com. Join us next week, and remember, when you heal your mind, all things are possible.